orders from Washington to not go on the offense and to keep his defenses intact, but do not attack the Japanese. He wanted the administration wanted Japan to fire the first shot, the first overt act. That was the orders to both Admiral Kimmel and to General MacArthur.
I still don't get the purpose for destroying those B-17s.
The B-17s were kept on the ground at Clark Field,
yes,
and the Japanese destroyed them in attacks.
Oh, I see. Wow, incredible!
That was a preemptive strike to keep them from deploying to China.
That is incredible. That is incredible. Wow, thank you very much, Richard. That was I was not aware of that. Thank you for that information. Let's go to Maureen in Virginia. Maureen, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, this one, I bet you somebody out there listening will have a relative that has a copy of this. I know a man whose uncle has a copy of this. This happened in the hospital, the Naval Hospital at Pearl Harbor. The morning of the attack, they had already delivered a newspaper before the attack happened saying that Pearl Harbor was attacked by the Japanese that day. Now, the orderlies then came around and collected all of the papers. I guess it was like a major oops. But this one man, his uncle, put the paper under the sheets, so when the orderlies came in, they did not see it.
Oh, my goodness. I've heard about this before. Let me go to our guest. What do you know about this, Robert?
Yes, I assume Maureen is talking about the Honolulu daily newspapers. There were two of them. One was the Honolulu Advertiser, the other was the Honolulu Star Bulletin. But the Star Bulletin did not usually publish on Sunday, and the Advertiser did, but their presses broke down. They couldn't publish, so the Star Bulletin put out extras, extra editions. I think the first one hit the streets in Honolulu about 11 a.m. So I think that's what she is talking about, where the Honolulu Star Bulletin reported the attack.
Okay, at 11 a.m., what time did the attack occur?
The attack took place at 8 a.m.
Okay,
that's Hawaii time.
Okay, so there was no paper that came out before the time of the attack?
No. The earliest newspaper that came out was 11 a.m., the Honolulu Star Bulletin.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Maureen, for the phone call. Let's go to David in Tennessee. David, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Well, first of all, I want to salute Mr. Stinnett. I have his book here in front of me.
Fantastic.
I have not totally read it, but there's a couple of questions. You mentioned in your book that the Hawaiian commander was sort of excluded out of this loop of information about what was going on, all this code breaking, yet MacArthur was, General MacArthur was included in this loop. So I'm assuming from your book that MacArthur knew these attacks were coming as well and did little if nothing to prepare the
Okay,
Philippines.
we'll find out the answer after this 3-minute break. Thank you very much, David, for the phone call. We'll find out if General MacArthur was knowledgeable of the impending attacks. Back in 3 minutes. Welcome back to Power Hour, ladies and gentlemen. It's Mind Games, isn't it? Isn't this eerily so like what happened on 9/11? Was it let it happen, or was it we made it happen? Well, talking to our guest today, Robert B. Stinnett, who's the author of Day of Deceit, The Truth About FDR and Pearl Harbor, he says they basically made it happen and let it happen. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, back in 1941, December 7th, 68 years ago today. Our guest is to be honored for what he has done, and I just appreciate so very much he's spending his time with us today. The question that was asked by David in Tennessee is regarding General MacArthur. Was he knowledgeable about this? Did he allow his own men to be murdered? Robert Stinnett?
Yes, both all of the military commands, the United States military commands in the Pacific Basin were told to stand aside and let Japan commit the first overt act. These were the orders that came from the chief of the U.S. Army and the chief of the U.S. Navy on November 28th. This is about a week before Pearl Harbor. They were told to, the exact wording is in my book, and it says the United States desires that Japan commit the first overt act. So that's what happened. Our intercept showed that the Japanese fleet was in the North Pacific. The submarines were proceeding in the Central Pacific, but MacArthur and Admiral Kimmel and the other military leaders were told, stand aside, let Japan commit the first overt act. David is correct there.
And, of course, they were just doing their job. They were doing as they were ordered. Let's go to Carl in Oklahoma. Carl, you're on the air with Robert Stinnett. Go ahead, please.
I was a student at University of Oklahoma in 1956 through 9 actually, and I had a history professor who worked in cryptography in Washington, D.C. during the war, or before the war. And he said they had broken the code days before the attack, that they did tell Roosevelt the attack was coming and when, and that he deliberately sat on his hands. Now this was told to the entire class of students at University of Oklahoma in the 50s. So this has been known for a while, long before these books came out.
It sure has. And I thank you very much for the phone call, Carl. We've only got about a minute left. Let me just ask you, Robert Stinnett, what does all this mean? I mean, what are we supposed to take away from this experience in your book?
Well, you alluded to 9/11 earlier, and the similarities. The FBI was following the terrorists that were learning to fly aircraft. Nothing was done about it. At Pearl Harbor, the FBI was tracking the Japanese spy that was preparing the bomb plots at Pearl Harbor and sending messages all clear for a surprise attack on this place. But the administration wanted these attacks to occur, so I don't know how you can avoid that if they're determined to carry out these plans.
So incredible is the story. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us in the Power Hour today. You really have done a tremendous thing for this country. Thank you so very much. We salute you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow we're going to be talking about the waking of the military. Oh, how appropriate. Michael Lemieux will be our guest tomorrow. What is going on inside of the military? Is there an insurgency in the military? We'll talk to him tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Power Hour. It is our pleasure and our honor to be sitting here talking to you. Thanks to all of our callers, our guests, and everyone that makes this possible. Thank you, John, in Minnesota. Have a blessed day. We'll see you tomorrow.